Hello, my name is Karina, and today we are going to be showing you how to code a quadratic equation, or just to double check your mathematics for your quadratic equation in Java. So, the first thing I'm going to be doing is you have to either have a online compiler in Java or download a Java app. So what I have is Eclipse. Eclipse is a very common Java compiler that people download onto their computers. Or if you don't want to download anything because you just don't want to have the space or any of that issue, you can just search on Google online Java compiler, and there are so many free online compilers you can just code, and your data won't be saved onto your computer. However, it will work in that moment. So after you have figured it out, you're going to need to make a class. So I just called mine quadratic, to just check my work. And the first thing we're going to be needing to do is getting our quadratic equation. So if you would like to do the math on your own or just watch me do the math, here is the equation that we are going to be using. So it's 2x squared minus 8x minus 24 equals 0. So once we have this, you can write it down, pause the video, or I'm just going to be coding it on my iPad that you'll be seeing my screen right now. So connect, mirror, 1 second. Okay. So my screen should be working, I believe. Good. So we're just going to be in my Notability app so I can just show you guys the code. So the first thing we're going to be doing is just writing what the quadratic code is, the formula is. So it's ax squared plus bc equals, plus bx plus c equals 0. And then now we're just going to be substituting it in with the information of our formula. So since our formula is 2x squared minus 8x minus 24 equals 0. So just to make it easier when we're putting in our code, I'm just going to set a, b, and c to what the coefficient of the variable is. So since a equals 2, b equals -8, and c equals -24. So now we're just going to put the formula. So it's x, if you weren't sure, it's x equals -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So now let's just put it in with our information. So we have x equals -8 plus or minus the square root of -8 squared is 64 minus 4 times it by 2 and times that by -24. And then we're going to put it all over 2 times 2 is 4. Just trying to simplify it as much as we can as fast as possible. So now we have x equals 8 because negatives cancel out, plus or minus a square root of 64. And if you do -4 times 2, which is -8, times that by -24, it will give you minus parentheses -192. And these negatives cancel each other out. So it's 64 plus 192. So this should give you, it equals 8 plus or minus the square root of 256. And then you're going to divide this by 4. So the square root of 256 is 16. So now that we have this, we have x equals 8 plus or minus 16 over 4. And now I can just do very simple math. And this is going to be giving us 2 plus or minus 4. So this is going to be giving us 2 answers for x. So x first d, so it's 2 plus 4. 2 plus 4 equals 6. So x equals 6. And then 2 minus 4, so x equals -2. So these are our 2 answers, and when we put in our answer, our code, it must give us these values back. So the first thing that I'm going to be doing is going into, I could stop screencasting, and we can go back into Eclipse. So the first thing I'm going to be doing in my code is setting our variables that we did on the side with our A, B, and C. So under my public static void main string line, I'm going to be writing double A equals 2, it is, 2 colon. And then what you can just do to make it easier, just copy this line because we're going to have to set it for every variable and just change it. So now we have B is equal to -8 and C is equal to -24. And it's very important that in Java it's very specific with the syntax, so the semicolon is needed after a majority of almost every single line. Or else if you don't, it's going to pop up with an error. The next thing I'm going to be doing is just giving it a little bit cleaner and giving it a space and write double x times x1 equals 0, so setting it to 0, and then the same thing, because since there's two answers for the quadratic equation, you would just set it to x2. And then we're going to make it cleaner again, we're going to go down a few lines and write x1 equals, and now we're just going to be putting the formula of the quadratic equation into the computer. It's very crucial when you're doing this because of PEMDAS, the computer is just reading what you're entering. So you have to be very careful with your parentheses. For example, if I just did -b, it's because it's x equals -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, you will have -b plus math.sqrt. This is just abbreviation for square root in Java. And then parentheses b times b. So the multiplication sign is just an asterisk, which is just shift 8, minus 4 times by a times by c. And then we're just going to put it divided by 2 times a. If I just did that simply, and I just did a semicolon, and I'll just do a print line so you could just see what it would look like. If I just did tab system dot out dot print parenthesis, what I did parentheses, I would do, it would be x1 colon, I believe, right? It would be x1, I believe. I just ran it. Proceed. It would just give me 24. That is incorrect because we know our answers are 6 and -2. The reason why I knew it was going to print an error was because I was trying to show you guys that it's very crucial with your parentheses, because if you put the wrong parentheses, it's just going to be doing this first when you just needed to have the -8 in the front. So to make this correct, we're going to have parentheses in the beginning and then end the parentheses here. And just to be sure, what I like to do is just also put one at the end of the 2a. So now if we run it again, it's going to give us the first variable, which is 6. Good. So we knew that x equals 6 for one of them. So now we'll have to also do the same thing for the second x. So we have x2 equals, and then we can just copy this. And then the next thing is the only thing we need to change is the minus sign, because that's how we did the x equals 2 plus 4, x equals 2 minus 4. So now we're doing the minus. And we're going to be doing another system dot out. However, we're going to put it right here. The only difference is we are going to be making it cleaner. Well, we need an ln first to make it cleaner. And we're going to be putting quotes x1 equals, quote again, plus x1. Now we do the same thing for just x2. So quote x2 equals, quote, plus x2. Now save it. We run it. x1 equals 6 and x2 equals -2. There you have it. That is a quadratic formula. You can either just implement into your computer just putting in A, B, and C, or you can just double check your answers in Java. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us at girlswithwisdom@gmail.com or go to our website, girlswithwisdom.com, or follow us on Instagram and DM us with any questions. We are happy to help you with any syntactical errors, compiler errors, anything you would like. Thank you.